So let's take a look under the hood here at the files that are generated with authentication. And if we expand app start, you'll see there's a startup auth file. Let's go ahead and open it. And if we scroll to the bottom, you will see all of this commented out code. This is all for third-party authentication. And then later on, I will show you how to use the Facebook because I think that's probably the easiest one to use for third-party authentication, and it works offline. We're going to take another look at a file, and this one is identity config. So if any of you found creating a registration account annoying, this is where you would go to change the settings. You can see here we have password validator. The required length right now is 6, which is not all that secure. So we are going to actually change it to 8. Require a non-letter or digit. So this is what is set to true, and this is why you have to key in a number. Required digit is true, so that's also telling you that you have to do a number. Now, non-letter or digit, if you already have keyed in a digit, it makes you key in a special character. And then you can see for lower and uppercase, they're both turned on. That's why you have to have an uppercase letter, you have to have lowercase letters, you have to have a digit, and you have to have a special character. So if you find any of that super annoying, you can set some of it to false, but having it all turned on does create a fairly secure password. And obviously, the longer the length, the more secure the password is going to be. And let us take a look at where that little database was created. And let's see, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and run a build. And then I'm going to go into the Object Explorer. So last time when we were looking at code first, the database was in V13, or the database first. And this time we're going to come up here and look under MS SQL Local DB because that is where the code first databases are located. And that is also where this registration authentication database is located. Now you can see I have a lot of these in here. How am I even going to know which one is the correct one? I mean, I've got a bunch of MVC demos. It's really not a problem if I go into web config. And I really doubt any of you guys are going to have the same issue unless you've been doing this a lot. So if I go into web config, and this should be something that you guys are readily familiar with. If we look here where the connection string is, that was put in there automatically because we have that authentication registration piece turned on. And so the name that they gave the database is this very long string with the numbers at the end. So all I'm really going to do is remember 2592F. So I'm going to go back over into the Object Explorer. And we said what, 2592F? Here it is. So let me expand that out. And here are my tables that deal with uh, registration. The one that has the user account in it is the very last one. So if I right click on that and I go to view data, I should be able to see my user account that I added. And you can see it's fairly secure. It is showing a password hash, so you're not going to actually see what the password is in here. So these are all of the different fields or columns that are in that particular table. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this again, and I'm going to add another account now that we have changed the requirements for the password. Let me log out first. Now, if I wanted to, I could change my own account. Let me show you how to do that. I'll log back in because that is available in here as well. Okay, so you see if I click on that, how I get into this change your password. And now it's using the new rules. So if I try to do something short, it's coming back and it's telling me it's not 8 characters. So I'm going to log off and I'm going to create a new one because that little 8 character rule also applies here. So we'll give Scooby a password. Oops. We have to create it first. All right. And now Scooby has a little account. So if I exit out and I was to view this again, let me close it here. I should see Scooby's and my account. So the next video is going to talk about using social media for authentication. Because you saw how simple it is to use the registration system in here. It's actually very well built and it works well. But as you can see, we have overhead here, right? We're going to have users in our tables. It's going to take up space. If you have your database and your app on Azure, that costs money. So, if you can have Facebook or Google authenticate your users, then you don't have to store the information. And the next video is going to talk about how to enable social media authentication.